Let's take a moment to consider how much of our lives are spent chasing outcomes. We obsess over the perfect job, the ideal relationship, the approval of others, or even the right circumstances to feel fulfilled. But what if I told you that the very act of holding on so tightly is what's keeping you from true freedom? Ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. At first glance, this might sound counterintuitive. How can letting go lead to power? Yet, this idea lies at the heart of one of the most profound and overlooked principles of Stoicism: detachment. It's not about indifference or apathy. It's about understanding where our control begins and ends, and finding strength in that clarity. Today, we're going to explore what it truly means to detach, why it's been a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy for centuries, and how this quiet rebellion against attachment can unlock a deeper, more unshakable sense of personal power. You'll discover how letting go of the need to control external outcomes can actually give you more agency over your life, your emotions, and your peace of mind. This isn't just a philosophical concept, it's a practical tool for navigating the chaos of the modern world. So, if you've ever felt overwhelmed by the pressure to have it all together, if you've ever wondered why striving so hard sometimes leaves you feeling emptier than before, or if you're simply curious about how ancient wisdom can transform your life today, you're in the right place. This journey isn't about giving up, it's about gaining something far more valuable: the freedom to live on your own terms. The quiet rebellion is not about loud protests or dramatic acts of defiance. It's a subtle, internal revolution, a deliberate choice to resist the pull of external chaos and reclaim your inner peace. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, yet feeling completely calm because you've decided not to let the winds dictate your emotions. This is the essence of Stoic detachment. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, often spoke about the importance of building an inner fortress. He wrote, "The wise man is neither raised up by prosperity nor cast down by adversity." In other words, true power comes from understanding that external events, no matter how chaotic or overwhelming, don't have to define your state of mind. Contrast this with the way most of us live. We often react to the world around us, letting external circumstances control our moods, decisions, and sense of self-worth. But the quiet rebellion flips this script. It's about saying, "I won't let this control me." It's a refusal to be swept away by the noise, the expectations, or the endless demands of modern life. Take social media, for example. It's easy to feel envy or inadequacy when scrolling through curated highlights of other people's lives. But the quiet rebellion asks, why am I giving this power over me? Instead of comparing or craving, it's about stepping back and asking, what truly matters to me? This isn't about ignoring the world or pretending it doesn't affect you. It's about choosing where to place your attention and energy. It's about recognizing that while you can't control what happens around you, you can control how you respond. So, what are you too attached to? Is it the need for approval, the fear of failure, or the desire for perfection? The quiet rebellion invites you to question these attachments and discover the freedom that comes when you let them go. It's a small act of defiance with profound consequences, a way to reclaim your power in a world that often tries to take it from you. Stoic detachment is often misunderstood. It's not about shutting down your emotions or becoming indifferent to the world. Instead, it's about creating a healthy distance between yourself and external events, so you're not ruled by them. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, put it simply, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the heart of Stoic detachment, knowing what you can control and what you can't. Think of it like this: you can't control whether it rains, but you can control whether you carry an umbrella. In the same way, you can't control how others act, but you can control how you respond. This mindset isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about choosing where to direct your energy. For instance, imagine a work crisis unfolds. Deadlines are missed, tensions are high, and everyone is scrambling. A detached approach doesn't mean you don't care about the outcome. It means you focus on what you can do, communicating clearly, prioritizing tasks, and staying level-headed, rather than spiraling into panic or frustration. This kind of detachment doesn't make you cold or uncaring. It makes you effective. It frees you from being tossed around by every wave of emotion or external pressure. So, how would your day change if you practiced this kind of detachment? What if, instead of reacting immediately to every email, comment, or obstacle, you paused and asked, "Is this within my control?" Small shifts like this can create a profound sense of calm and clarity, even in the midst of chaos. Detachment is power because it gives you the clarity to see things as they are, not as your emotions or fears distort them. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This isn't just philosophical wisdom, it's a practical tool for navigating life's challenges. When you detach, you step back from the immediate rush of emotions and ask yourself, what's really going on here? What's within my control? This pause is where personal power is born. It's the difference between reacting impulsively and responding thoughtfully. Take, for example, a leader facing a public relations crisis. Amidst the chaos, they don't let panic dictate their actions. Instead, they assess the situation, make a plan, and communicate calmly. Their detachment doesn't mean they're unaffected. It means they're centered enough to act with purpose. This is the essence of Stoic power, choosing your response rather than being swept away by circumstances. Think about a time when you felt overwhelmed. Maybe it was a heated argument, a sudden setback, or a moment of intense pressure. In those times, emotions can cloud your judgment, making it hard to see a way forward. But what if, in that moment, you could detach? What if you could step back, take a breath, and ask, what's truly important here? That space, no matter how small, is where clarity lies. It's where you reclaim your power. Detachment isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about not letting them control you. It's about finding the calm in the storm and using that calm to guide your actions. So the next time you're faced with a challenge, remember, the power to choose your response is always yours. Detachment doesn't just free us from emotional turbulence, it anchors us in the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, often reflected on the fleeting nature of time, reminding himself that the past is gone, the future is uncertain, and all we truly have is the now. When we detach from regrets about what's already happened or anxieties about what might come, we reclaim the power of the present. Think about it. How much energy do we waste replaying old mistakes or imagining worst-case scenarios? That energy could be spent on what's right in front of us, on the choices and actions that shape our lives in real time. Mindfulness is one of the most practical tools for cultivating this presence. It's not about emptying your mind or achieving some meditative state. It's about paying attention. When you're fully present, even the simplest tasks, like drinking a cup of tea or walking in the park, can become moments of clarity and calm. You notice the warmth of the cup in your hands, the sound of birds in the trees, the way the air feels on your skin. These small, focused moments train your mind to stay grounded, even when life feels chaotic. Try this today. Choose one activity. Maybe it's washing the dishes, listening to a friend, or even just taking a few deep breaths, and commit to being fully present with it. Notice the details, the sensations, the experience. This isn't just about relaxation. It's about practicing the kind of presence that detachment makes possible. When you're here, in this moment, you're not pulled backward by regret or forward by fear. You're free, and that freedom is where your deepest power resides. Resilience isn't about avoiding pain, it's about moving through it with clarity and strength. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, wrote extensively about enduring hardship without being consumed by it. He believed that suffering is inevitable, but how we respond to it is entirely within our control. Detachment plays a crucial role here. When we detach from the emotional weight of a setback, we create space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Imagine being caught in a storm. If you panic, you're more likely to make poor decisions, but if you stay calm, you can navigate the turbulence with precision. That's the power of detachment. It prevents emotional overwhelm and allows you to see the situation for what it is, not what it feels like. Consider the story of Musonius Rufus, a Stoic philosopher who was exiled from Rome. Instead of lamenting his fate or railing against the injustice, he used the experience as an opportunity to deepen his practice of virtue. He taught others, wrote letters, and continued to live in alignment with his principles, proving that resilience isn't about changing the circumstances, but about mastering your response to them. Think about a recent challenge you faced. How did you react? Did emotions cloud your judgment, or were you able to step back and assess the situation objectively? Detachment doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, it means acknowledging them without letting them dictate your actions. This shift in perspective doesn't just help you bounce back, it transforms setbacks into opportunities for growth. When you detach, you're not avoiding the storm, you're learning to sail through it. The Stoics understood that much of life is shaped by forces beyond our influence, and they built their philosophy around this truth. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic teachers, introduced the dichotomy of control, a simple yet profound idea that divides life into two categories: what's within our power and what's not. He argued that our peace of mind depends entirely on how we relate to this distinction. Think about it. You can't control the weather, the actions of others, or even the outcome of your efforts. What you can control is your attitude, your effort, and your response. When we focus our energy on what's outside our control, we set ourselves up for frustration. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The harder you grip, the more it slips away. Take a modern example, trying to manage how others perceive you. No matter how much you tailor your words or actions, you can't dictate someone else's thoughts or feelings. The more you try to control their opinion, the more anxious and unfulfilled you'll feel. Instead, the Stoic approach is to focus on what you can influence: your own integrity, kindness, and authenticity. When you let go of the need to control external outcomes, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and open the door to genuine contentment. Reflect on areas of your life where you might be seeking control unnecessarily. Are you fixated on a particular result at work? Are you trying to micromanage a relationship? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward reclaiming your peace of mind. The Stoic reminder is clear: true power lies not in controlling the world around you, but in mastering your inner world. By embracing this wisdom, you can navigate life's uncertainties with grace and resilience, no matter what comes your way. Detachment in relationships doesn't mean shutting people out or becoming indifferent. It's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that often entangle us. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote extensively about this in his Meditations. He emphasized treating others with kindness and fairness, but without becoming overly attached to their actions or opinions. In his words, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Why? Because understanding human nature allows us to engage with others from a place of compassion rather than expectation. When we stop demanding that people act a certain way or fulfill specific roles in our lives, we create space for healthier, more authentic connections. Take the example of letting go of a toxic relationship. Maybe it's a friend who constantly undermines you or a partner who drains your energy. Holding on out of fear of loneliness or guilt only deepens the hurt. Detachment here means recognizing that you deserve better and stepping away with grace, not bitterness. It's not about cutting ties angrily, but about prioritizing your well-being. Think of it like this: you're not abandoning the person, you're reclaiming your peace. Now, consider a relationship in your own life where detachment might be necessary. Is there someone whose behavior consistently brings you stress or disappointment? Detaching doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop allowing their actions to dictate your happiness. By releasing the need to control or fix the relationship, you open the door to greater emotional freedom. The Stoic approach teaches us that we can love deeply without becoming dependent. It's about finding balance, being present and compassionate without sacrificing your inner peace. When we practice this kind of detachment, we not only protect our well-being but also foster relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and understanding, rather than need or obligation. The power of letting go is one of the most transformative practices in Stoicism, not because it's easy, but because it's essential for true freedom. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, often wrote about the fleeting nature of material wealth. He reminded us that possessions are temporary and clinging to them only creates unnecessary suffering. Think about it. When we attach our happiness to things outside of ourselves, we give away our power. Whether it's a job title, a car, or even a relationship, these external factors are beyond our control. And when they inevitably change or disappear, we're left feeling empty. But here's the truth: letting go isn't about losing something, it's about gaining perspective. Take decluttering, for example. It's not just about tidying up your physical space, it's a deliberate act of detachment. When you remove the excess from your life, you make room for what truly matters. This process isn't always comfortable. It forces you to confront attachments you've held onto for years. But with each item you release, you reclaim a piece of yourself. The same principle applies to grudges. Holding onto anger or resentment is like carrying a heavy weight everywhere you go. It drains your energy and keeps you stuck in the past. Letting go of a grudge doesn't mean you condone the behavior that hurt you. It means you choose to stop letting it control your present. This act of release is liberating. So, what's one thing in your life that's holding you back? It could be a physical possession, a toxic relationship, or an old grievance. Take a moment to reflect on what you're clinging to and ask yourself, is this serving me? Is this bringing me closer to the person I want to be? Letting go is a practice, not a one-time event. It's about making small, intentional choices every day to release what no longer aligns with your growth. And each time you do, you step closer to a life of deeper peace and personal power. Detachment isn't just about releasing material possessions or past grievances, it's also a powerful tool for decision-making. Epictetus, one of the pillars of Stoic philosophy, taught that our judgments are often clouded by emotional attachment. When we're deeply invested in a particular outcome, it becomes harder to think clearly. Fear, desire, or anger can distort our perspective, leading us to make impulsive choices that don't align with our long-term goals. But when we practice detachment, we create a mental space where clarity can thrive. Think of it like stepping back from a painting to see the whole picture rather than focusing on a single brushstroke. This distance allows us to evaluate options more objectively and make decisions based on reason rather than emotion. Consider the example of a leader faced with a difficult choice, perhaps laying off employees to save a struggling company. If they're emotionally attached, their judgment might be swayed by guilt or fear of criticism, leading to indecision or a poor outcome. But if they approach the situation with detachment, they can weigh the facts, consider the long-term impact, and make a decision that serves the greater good. This doesn't mean they're cold or uncaring. It means they're prioritizing rationality over reactivity. Now, think about a recent decision you made that was influenced by emotion. Maybe it was a heated argument where you said something you regretted, or a financial choice driven by fear of missing out. How might detachment have changed your approach? By stepping back, evaluating the situation objectively, and focusing on what's within your control, you can make choices that align with your values and goals. This is the essence of Stoic decision-making, recognizing that emotions are natural, but they don't have to dictate your actions. When you cultivate detachment, you empower yourself to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, paving the way for wiser, more intentional decisions. The quiet rebel's mindset is rooted in an unshakable inner stability, a concept Marcus Aurelius explored deeply in his meditations. He wrote about the importance of maintaining composure, no matter the external chaos, by focusing on what's within our control. This isn't about ignoring the world or suppressing emotions. It's about cultivating a disciplined awareness of your thoughts and reactions. The quiet rebel doesn't get swept up in the storm of external events. Instead, they stand firm, grounded in their values and principles. Think of it like being the eye of a hurricane, calm and still, even as chaos swirls around you. This mindset requires self-awareness, the ability to observe your thoughts without being ruled by them. It also demands discipline, the practice of consistently choosing reason over impulse. Take, for example, a modern-day scenario, a workplace crisis where tensions are high, deadlines are missed, and tempers flare. A quiet rebel in this situation wouldn't panic or lash out. Instead, they'd assess the situation calmly, identify actionable steps, and lead by example, inspiring others to stay focused and composed. This isn't passive, it's a deliberate choice to respond rather than react. So, how can you embody this mindset in your own life? Start by practicing mindfulness. When faced with a stressful situation, pause and observe your thoughts. Ask yourself, what's within my control? What's the most constructive way forward? Over time, this practice builds resilience, allowing you to navigate life's challenges with grace and clarity. The quiet rebel's power lies in their ability to remain steady, embodying the Stoic ideal of inner freedom amidst external turmoil. Whether it's a personal conflict, a professional setback, or a global crisis, this mindset transforms chaos into an opportunity for growth and leadership. Detachment and self-worth are deeply interconnected, and Seneca's teachings offer profound insight into this relationship. He wrote extensively about the dangers of seeking validation from external sources, warning that tying your sense of worth to the opinions of others is like building a house on shifting sand. When your self-esteem depends on applause, approval, or recognition, you surrender your power to forces outside your control. The quiet rebel understands this and instead focuses on cultivating an inner sense of value. They know their worth isn't determined by titles, accolades, or societal status, but by the integrity of their character and the principles they live by. This shift from external to internal validation is transformative. Take, for instance, someone who walks away from a high-pressure career that looks impressive on paper but leaves them feeling empty. By rejecting society's narrow definition of success and choosing a path aligned with their values, they reclaim their autonomy and rediscover their true self. This isn't easy. It requires courage to go against the grain and trust in your own inner compass. But the reward is a deeper, unshakable sense of self-worth that no one can take away. So let's pause for a moment and reflect. Where do you seek validation? Is it from your social media followers, your colleagues, or even your family? And how might your life change if you stopped chasing external approval and started valuing yourself from within? Detachment isn't about indifference or isolation. It's about prioritizing your own standards over society's expectations. When you anchor your self-worth in your own values and actions, you free yourself from the endless cycle of seeking approval. This is where true power lies, not in being recognized by others, but in recognizing the inherent worth within yourself. The Stoic practice of negative visualization might sound counterintuitive at first, but it's a powerful exercise in cultivating detachment and gratitude. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often encouraged his readers to imagine the loss of the things they hold dear, not to dwell in pessimism, but to develop a deeper appreciation for what they have. This practice isn't about expecting the worst, it's about preparing for it mentally so that when challenges arise, we're not paralyzed by fear or attachment. Picture this: you wake up one morning and discover that your most prized possession is gone. How would you feel? What would you do? By visualizing this scenario, you're not inviting misfortune. You're training your mind to recognize that you can endure and even thrive without it. This exercise reduces the grip of fear because it reminds us that our happiness doesn't hinge on external things. Here's how you can try it yourself. Start by choosing something you value deeply: a relationship, a career, or even a material possession. Take a few moments to vividly imagine life without it. Notice the emotions that arise, but don't let them overwhelm you. Instead, focus on how you would adapt, what you would learn, and how you would grow from the experience. This isn't about resigning yourself to loss, but about strengthening your resilience and expanding your perspective. Now, consider something you value in your own life and take a moment to visualize its absence. How does it feel? What insights emerge? This practice, though simple, can be profoundly liberating. It reminds us that everything we have is temporary, and that realization isn't a source of despair. It's an invitation to cherish the present moment more fully. By embracing this Stoic tool, we learn to hold our blessings lightly, knowing that our true power lies not in what we possess, but in how we respond to life's inevitable changes. Detachment isn't about indifference. It's about reclaiming control over our emotional responses to life's uncertainties. One of the most paralyzing emotions we face is fear, and Stoicism offers a powerful antidote. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was born into slavery, taught that fear often stems from our attachment to things we can't control: our reputation, the opinions of others, or even the safety of those we love. He urged us to focus instead on what lies within our power, our thoughts, our actions, and our choices. When we cling too tightly to external outcomes, we give fear a foothold. But when we detach, we free ourselves from its grip. Consider someone who fears public speaking. The anxiety often comes from a deep attachment to being perceived as competent or likable. What if instead they approach the situation with Stoic detachment? They might remind themselves that they can't control the audience's reactions, but they can control how well they prepare and deliver their speech. This shift in focus reduces the fear because it redirects energy toward what's actionable and lets go of what's not. Think about a fear you're holding onto right now. Is it rooted in something outside your control? How might detachment help you face it with courage rather than anxiety? By practicing this mindset, we don't eliminate fear entirely. We learn to navigate it with clarity and resolve. Fear becomes less of an obstacle and more of a teacher, guiding us toward growth and self-mastery. This is the profound power of detachment. It doesn't shield us from life's challenges, but it equips us to meet them with unwavering strength. Gratitude is a transformative force that intertwines seamlessly with detachment, helping us shift our focus from what we lack to what we already possess. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reflected on the importance of appreciating the present moment. In his meditations, he wrote about finding contentment in the simple, often overlooked aspects of life: a warm meal, a kind word, or the beauty of nature. By cultivating gratitude, we train ourselves to see abundance rather than scarcity, which naturally reduces our attachment to external desires. Think about it. When we're truly grateful for what we have, the urge to constantly chase more diminishes. We stop clinging to things that are fleeting and learn to savor what's already within our grasp. One practical way to build this habit is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you're thankful for. It could be as small as a good cup of coffee, or as significant as the support of a loved one. Over time, this practice rewires your mind to focus on the positive, creating a sense of inner richness that doesn't rely on external validation or material possessions. Imagine starting your day by acknowledging the warmth of sunlight streaming through your window or the quiet peace of a morning routine. These moments, when savored, become anchors of contentment. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring life's challenges. It means finding balance by appreciating the good even amidst the struggles. So, how can you incorporate this into your life? Start small. Pause before meals to reflect on the effort that brought food to your table. Notice the kindness of strangers or the comfort of familiar spaces. By practicing gratitude daily, you'll find that detachment grows naturally, rooted in a deep appreciation for the present rather than a restless longing for the future. Detachment and ambition might seem like opposing forces, but in reality, they complement each other in profound ways. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, often spoke about the importance of pursuing goals without becoming enslaved by them. He believed that when we detach from the outcomes of our efforts, we free ourselves from the anxiety and fear of failure that can stifle progress. Instead of being consumed by the need for success, we can focus on the process itself, putting in consistent, meaningful work without obsessing over the end result. This approach not only preserves our mental well-being but also enhances our ability to achieve greatness. Think about the athlete who trains diligently, not because they're fixated on winning a medal, but because they genuinely love the sport. Their passion and dedication lead to peak performance, but their detachment from the outcome allows them to remain resilient in the face of setbacks. Similarly, many innovators and creators throughout history have achieved remarkable things by focusing on their craft rather than the accolades. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His detachment from immediate success allowed him to persevere through countless experiments, ultimately leading to groundbreaking inventions. When we're overly attached to success, the pressure can become debilitating, leading to burnout and a loss of purpose. But detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means investing fully in the journey while accepting that the outcome is beyond our control. So, how can you apply this to your own life? Start by setting clear intentions for your goals, but remind yourself that the process is just as important as the destination. Celebrate small victories along the way and view challenges as opportunities to grow rather than obstacles to your success. By embracing this mindset, you'll find that your ambition becomes more sustainable and fulfilling, driven not by the need for external validation, but by a genuine love for what you do. A quiet rebel's strength lies in their daily habits, small, consistent practices that build emotional resilience and detachment over time. Take Marcus Aurelius, for example. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher began and ended each day with intentional reflection. In the morning, he prepared mentally for the challenges ahead, reminding himself of the virtues he aimed to embody. In the evening, he reviewed his actions, acknowledging where he succeeded and where he could improve. This rhythm of self-awareness helped him remain grounded, even in the chaos of leading an empire. Journaling is one such habit that can anchor your thoughts and emotions, giving you a space to process experiences without judgment. It doesn't need to be lengthy or complicated, just a few sentences to reflect on your day, your struggles, and your progress. Meditation is another powerful tool, offering a moment of stillness amidst the noise. Even 5 minutes of focused breathing can help you detach from external pressures and reconnect with your inner calm. Self-reflection, too, is essential. At the end of each day, ask yourself questions like, did I act in alignment with my values? Or, what can I learn from today's challenges? These practices cultivate a mindset of detachment by helping you step back from immediate reactions and see the bigger picture. If you're just starting out, try this simple habit. Each evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant, fostering a sense of contentment and detachment from external circumstances. This week, consider adopting one new habit that aligns with the quiet rebel's mindset. Whether it's journaling, meditating, or reflecting on your day, these small steps can lead to profound shifts in how you navigate life's challenges. By committing to these practices, you'll not only build emotional resilience, but also reclaim your power to live with intention and purpose. Criticism can sting, especially when it feels personal or unfair. But what if the pain of criticism has less to do with the words themselves and more to do with how tightly we cling to others' opinions? This is where detachment becomes a powerful ally. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, offered a profound insight. If someone criticizes you, it's their opinion, not your reality. He taught that we suffer not because of what others say, but because of our attachment to their approval. When we detach from needing validation, criticism loses its power to wound. Think of criticism as a mirror. It reflects the other person's perspective, not your worth. For example, imagine a musician who pours their heart into a performance, only to face harsh reviews. If they're attached to everyone's approval, those words will feel like a personal attack. But if they detach, they can see the feedback as an opportunity to grow. Maybe the critique highlights areas they hadn't considered, or maybe it's simply a reminder that not everyone will resonate with their work. Either way, detachment allows them to respond with curiosity rather than defensiveness. So how do you react when faced with criticism? Do you feel the urge to defend yourself, or do you retreat into self-doubt? What if instead you paused and asked, what can I learn from this? Detachment doesn't mean dismissing criticism outright. It means considering it without letting it define you. It's about separating your self-worth from others' opinions so you can engage with feedback objectively, not emotionally. This shift in perspective transforms criticism from a source of pain to a tool for growth, empowering you to move forward with clarity and confidence. Failure is often seen as the ultimate defeat, something to avoid at all costs. But what if failure is not the enemy we've made it out to be? Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, wrote that setbacks are not just inevitable but essential. He believed that failure is not a reflection of our worth but a teacher in disguise. When we cling too tightly to success, failure becomes devastating because it threatens our identity. But detachment shifts our perspective. It allows us to see failure not as a personal attack but as an opportunity to grow. Take the story of Thomas Edison, for instance. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset embodies Stoic detachment, accepting failure as part of the process rather than a final judgment. How often do we let a single setback define us? What if, instead of fearing failure, we saw it as a stepping stone? Reframing failure with detachment means asking, "What can I learn from this?" Rather than, "Why does this always happen to me?" Think about a recent setback in your own life. Maybe it was a project that didn't go as planned or a goal that felt out of reach. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, consider what it taught you. Detachment doesn't mean ignoring the pain of failure. It means not letting that pain control you. When we detach from the need to be perfect, we free ourselves to take risks, experiment, and ultimately grow. This is the power of a Stoic mindset. It transforms failure from a source of fear into a tool for resilience and self-discovery. Time is our most finite resource, yet many of us squander it by clinging to what's already gone or obsessing over what might never come. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, often reflected on the brevity of life. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This stark reminder isn't meant to scare us but to awaken us to the present moment. When we're attached to past regrets, we relive mistakes that can't be undone. When we're consumed by future worries, we lose the only time we truly have, the here and now. Detachment helps us reclaim the present by loosening our grip on what's beyond our control. Think about your own life. How many hours have you spent replaying an old argument or anxiously anticipating a future event? What could you have done with that time instead? Practical detachment begins with setting boundaries with distractions. For example, limit the time you spend on social media, where endless scrolling pulls you away from what truly matters. Or try this simple exercise at the start of each day. Write down one thing you're grateful for and one thing you'll focus on. This practice grounds you in the present and reminds you of what deserves your energy. Another tip is to declutter your schedule. Say no to commitments that drain you or don't align with your values. This isn't about being selfish. It's about respecting your time and using it wisely. By detaching from the noise, you create space for what brings meaning to your life. Imagine looking back at the end of your life. Would you regret spending so much time on things that didn't matter? Or would you wish you'd invested more in relationships, passions, and moments of joy? Detachment isn't about dismissing the importance of time. It's about honoring it by living with intention. When we let go of what we can't control, we free ourselves to fully embrace the present, knowing that this moment is the only one we're guaranteed. The quiet rebel doesn't shout or demand attention. Their power lies in their calm, unwavering presence. Seneca once wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you are capable of improving. The process is mutual, for men learn while they teach." This idea captures the essence of the quiet rebel, someone who leads not by force but by example. When we detach from the chaos around us, we create a space where others can find clarity and inspiration. Think about the people in your life who have influenced you deeply. Were they the loudest voices in the room, or were they the ones who listened intently, spoke thoughtfully, and acted with quiet confidence? Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means choosing to engage with the world from a place of inner strength rather than reactivity. Consider the story of a teacher who transformed a struggling classroom not through strict rules but through patience and understanding. By remaining calm in the face of chaos, this teacher showed students how to navigate their own challenges with grace. The quiet rebel's influence is subtle but profound. They don't impose their will, they create ripples of change through their actions. How can you embody this in your own life? Start by observing how you respond to stress or conflict. Do you react impulsively, or do you pause and respond with intention? Small shifts in your behavior can have a larger impact than you might realize. For instance, staying calm during a heated conversation can de-escalate tension and open the door to productive dialogue. Detachment also allows us to see opportunities where others see obstacles. When we're not consumed by anxiety or frustration, we can approach challenges with creativity and resilience. This mindset not only benefits us but also inspires those around us to adopt a similar approach. Reflect on your role in your community. Are there ways you can lead through quiet strength? It could be as simple as volunteering with patience, mentoring with compassion, or standing firm in your values without seeking validation. The quiet rebel's power lies in their ability to influence without force, to inspire without fanfare. By embracing detachment, we become beacons of calm in a chaotic world, showing others that true strength doesn't need to make noise. Detachment from material possessions isn't about rejecting wealth or living in scarcity. It's about reclaiming your freedom from the things that weigh you down. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions but in having few wants." This profound idea reminds us that the more we attach our happiness to material things, the more we become enslaved by them. Think about it. When we chase status, luxury, or the next big purchase, we often feel empty afterward because those things can never truly satisfy us. The stress of maintaining our possessions, worrying about losing them, or constantly seeking more can consume our mental energy. But imagine the freedom that comes with letting go. Consider the story of a successful executive who walked away from a high-paying job to live a simpler life. At first, it seemed like a drastic move, but by shedding the weight of material expectations, they found joy in experiences, relationships, and personal growth. They no longer measured their worth by what they owned, but by how they lived. Detachment allows us to focus on what truly matters. It's not about living without possessions, but about ensuring that those possessions don't own us. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What are the things you cling to that might be holding you back? Is it a car, a house, or maybe a title at work? These things can become symbols of our identity, but when we detach from them, we realize they don't define us. True wealth lies in our ability to find contentment with less, to live with intention rather than accumulation. When we stop chasing external validation through material means, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of fulfillment. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means choosing to live with purpose, unburdened by the temporary allure of possessions. It's about finding joy in simplicity, in the moments that money can't buy. As you reflect on this, consider what one possession or desire you might need to detach from to experience greater freedom and peace. By letting go, we create space for what truly enriches our lives. The Stoic practice of self-denial might sound harsh at first, but it's actually a powerful tool for building resilience and deepening detachment. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, often spoke about the importance of occasionally going without the things we rely on. He suggested that by voluntarily depriving ourselves of comforts, we prepare our minds to handle life's inevitable challenges with greater ease. This isn't about punishing ourselves or living in perpetual hardship. It's about proving to ourselves that we don't need external things to be content. For example, Seneca would sometimes sleep on a hard floor, eat simple meals, or wear plain clothes not because he had to, but because he wanted to remind himself that these comforts were optional. This practice reduces our dependency on external sources of happiness and strengthens our inner resolve. It's like building a muscle. The more we practice self-denial, the stronger our ability to remain calm and focused in the face of adversity becomes. A simple way to start is by fasting from social media for a day. Notice how often you reach for your phone out of habit and observe the discomfort that arises when you resist. That discomfort is a signal that you're breaking free from a dependency. This small act of self-denial can help you realize how much of your time and energy is spent on things that don't truly serve you. It's not about giving up social media forever, but about proving to yourself that you can live without it, even for a short time. This week, challenge yourself to try self-denial in a small way. Maybe skip your morning coffee, leave your phone in another room for an hour, or resist the urge to buy something you don't need. These acts might feel uncomfortable at first, but they will remind you of your inner strength and resilience. By practicing self-denial, you're not just strengthening your detachment from external things, you're also cultivating a deeper sense of self-mastery and peace. Detachment isn't about giving up or resigning ourselves to fate. It's about learning to accept what we cannot change. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, often reflected on this in his meditations. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound idea reminds us that suffering often comes from resisting reality rather than the reality itself. Think about it. When we cling to how things should be, we create unnecessary turmoil. But when we accept things as they are, we free ourselves from that struggle. Take the story of a woman who lost her job unexpectedly. At first, she fought against it angry, anxious, and desperate to undo what had happened. But over time, she began to practice detachment. She realized that while she couldn't change the situation, she could control her response to it. Instead of seeing it as a failure, she began to view it as an opportunity to explore new paths she'd never considered before. This shift didn't happen overnight, but through acceptance, she found peace and even gratitude for the unexpected turn her life had taken. What about you? Is there something in your life right now that you're struggling to accept? Maybe it's a relationship that didn't work out, a goal that seems out of reach, or a circumstance that feels unfair. Instead of resisting it, try asking yourself, what would happen if I stopped fighting this? How might detachment help me see this situation differently? Acceptance doesn't mean we approve of what's happening. It means we stop wasting energy on what we can't control. By embracing this mindset, we open ourselves to the possibility of finding peace, clarity, and even unexpected opportunities in the midst of challenges. A quiet rebel's legacy isn't built on loud gestures or external achievement. It's forged through inner strength and the ability to detach from what doesn't truly matter. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often emphasized the importance of living a meaningful life without seeking validation from others. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." This idea shifts our focus from chasing external success to cultivating a life rich in character and purpose. Detachment helps us prioritize what's enduring: our values, our integrity, and the impact we have on others. Consider the story of a teacher who spent decades in a small rural school, not aiming for fame or recognition, but simply dedicating herself to her students. Years after her retirement, she wasn't remembered for awards or accolades, but for the quiet way she inspired her students to believe in themselves. Her legacy wasn't in what she achieved, but in who she was, the kindness she showed, the patience she practiced, and the wisdom she imparted. This is the power of detachment. It allows us to focus on what truly lasts. So, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? Is it one tied to fleeting achievements, or is it something deeper? Something that reflects your values and the way you've touched the lives of those around you? When we detach from the need for external validation, we free ourselves to build a legacy that's authentic and enduring. It's not about being remembered for what we've done, but for who we've been, and that's a legacy worth striving for. Detachment isn't about indifference or avoiding life's challenges. It's about reclaiming your inner power by refusing to let external circumstances dictate your peace of mind. This is the essence of the quiet rebellion, a deliberate internal shift toward freedom, resilience, and unshakable focus on what truly matters. When we detach, we stop being ruled by the opinions of others, the fear of failure, or the pursuit of fleeting rewards. Instead, we anchor ourselves in our values, our purpose, and the kind of life we want to lead. Think of it as choosing to build a fortress within yourself, a place of calm and strength that no storm can shake. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." These words remind us that true liberation comes from focusing on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our responses, while letting go of the rest. This is the quiet rebellion in action, a daily practice of choosing inner freedom over external chaos. So, how can you start your own quiet rebellion? Begin by asking yourself what truly matters to you. What are the things you've been clinging to that no longer serve your growth? What fears or external pressures have been holding you back? Detachment isn't an overnight transformation. It's a journey, one small, intentional step at a time. As you embark on this path, remember that the quietest rebellions often have the loudest impacts. By freeing yourself from the noise, you create space for clarity, purpose, and a deeper connection to your own strength. If this message resonates with you, consider subscribing for more insights and share your thoughts in the comments below. How will you begin your quiet rebellion today?